bit about that in a bit. But Daniel, let's get going on with it. Okay, TCPA, again, remember anything that we talk about in terms of lead generation. If you're going to be calling people, make sure that you scrub that against the do not call list. Grant is always great to help out with that kind of stuff if you need to have some assistance finding out who you should be calling and who you shouldn't be calling, but we want to make sure that we don't get fined. So make sure you comply with all TCPA. All right, Daniel, tell us something good. Who's got something really, really good to share? Anything. Doesn't need to be real estate related. Let's just start the meeting off on a really good note. Anybody? Cool.
Daniel, our mentee is in escrow right now on KWPV. This is one of the first looking out.
So Daniel got into escrow?
Yes.
When did that happen? He didn't tell me that. Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So Daniel is like super new. So not that Daniel Greco, who's one of our newer agents, got into escrow on a house, and he got the lead from an open. Cool. Love that. All right. I'll tell you guys something good, right? I think, again, this didn't happen since my last team meeting, because last week we had the board meeting. But my daughter did commit to Long Beach State. So my daughter is going to be moving down here in August, which is really, really cool. And then had a proud parent moment I shared with some of the people yesterday that I saw. I got a queen in my house right now. Actually, I got like 3 queens, but for the most part, my youngest daughter just won prom queen at her prom on Saturday. So that was a really fun time for the family on Saturday as well, too, right? Okay, Daniel, let's get on with it. So let's kick off with some needs and wants. Who's got some listings that are coming up that they'd like to share that aren't on the market yet? Any specific buyer needs that you guys need some assistance with, or any classes, training, support, resources, help? This is your chance to like share what you need. Yeah.
Attorney for Torrance, anything off market in to like 2 million, preferably more like 1.5 down there, single family. Just off market because it's tight with it. There's inventory that's moving really fast. So anything that we can tell our clients is off. Right?
Yeah. It's weird how different markets in different things, because like Zoltan and I were talking about yesterday, you look on the Hill and it's like 70% more listings, you said, this in April this year versus last year, and it seems like stuff's a little bit slower moving, and then in Torrance, which is not very far away, is moving pretty fast. Yeah, definitely. Well, move the house to Torrance, and then yeah, move. Tell them to get the house moved to Torrance, and then maybe it'd sell faster. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we got a price reduction coming up. Yeah.
Somebody I just talked to yesterday who would want to leave.
Yeah, I know that Betty is still out of the country. I think she's usually the one that gets a lot of leases, but she works with Josh, so I would maybe reach out to Josh because he might know somebody. Right. All right. Any other needs and wants before we move on? Okay. Cool. Daniel, let's go to the next one. We actually didn't update, did we? So no quote today. Minnie, you always have something really good to say. Let's get a mini quote today. No, that was the last one. So we didn't get the slide updated. So I need a mini quote.
one of those days. Our business, to wake up to day, every day, taking to 1:30.
Mhm.
And we have 3 minutes of our day, every time, the very beginning. So be responsible and be, properly scheduled, Saturday when, you know, ourselves, if it's the training, if it's the workout, if it's, feel, and then, you know, confident to start the day, exactly how you start this day, you put a week before or month. And to show up and you feel it.
Great quote. Thank you, Benny. All right, Daniel. A lot on tour today to go see. So we got about a page and a half worth of properties. I would go out and make sure that you're seeing at least 4 or 5 houses on tour every single week. To become a market expert, you need to know your market, and there's not a better way for you to quickly go out and see a bunch of houses and get really smart about what's going on in the market. And I think there's a really good opportunity. Joel and Bel Air and Zoltan and I were talking about this yesterday. I know that sometimes it's a challenge to get into, like, do an open house. And so the open house crew that meets on Monday is, hey, if you don't have an open house lined up on Monday or Tuesday, definitely make sure you go to Broker's Tour. It might not seem like it relates or corresponds as well, but if you go through the tour and you ask for permission from the listing agent to maybe do a little video for social so that you can start posting those things on social and start creating a traction and following on your social feeds, that will lead into productivity. And I'll tell you right now, if you wanted to be one of the more dominant people in the area at having a social following, it wouldn't really be that hard, right, Joel? Like, Joel, you actually searched YouTube yesterday and you searched the term Palos Verdes real estate. What did you find? Yeah, Jason Buck, he posts fairly frequently, but that's it, right? And so, like the top of the feed, if you search real estate in Palos Verdes, the top of the feed, the first like 7, 8 entries were from 2, 3 years ago, right? So the ability to gain some traction there can be really, really fast if you guys take some time to do it. And it's one of those things that kind of like in the group what we talked about. People like looking at houses, right? Otherwise, TV shows like House Hunters, $1 Million Listing would be off the air, but they've been on for forever because people like voyeuristically looking into houses. And if you create a medium where people in our area could go look at houses in our area via YouTube or video search, right, you'll start picking up a following. Right. One of the top agents in Keller Williams, a guy named Ken Kozak, who's the #1 agent in Florida, moved to Orlando 5, 6 years ago, didn't know a soul, and now he does like 240 million in production. And he's the top agent in South Florida. And a lot of it was because of his social media that he started doing. And Zoltan will know the answer to this. What's the #2 search engine in the world behind Google? YouTube, right? So people are searching for real estate agents in our area on YouTube, and they're not finding anything, right? So this can give you guys an unfair advantage because nobody's doing it. So that's what I would do is on Tuesdays, hey, I'm going through and I'm taking some videos, and then weekly I'm going to post 2 or 3 videos of properties in Palos Verdes and start picking up a following that way. Okay. All right, Daniel, next one. So we have Elite Group Inspections, Brent Gardner here. He sponsored our breakfast today. So let's give a big hand to Brent, and he's going to tell us about the inspection world. All right.
So you know.
couple closings we want to celebrate here real quick. So congrats to Natsuki and Ella on their closings. Daniel, next slide. Agnes, Maggie, and Paige. So congrats to them. And then Lauren and Josephine, congrats on your closings as well. And then a couple new listings. Stephen has a 2800 Plaza del Amo. Cindy, you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
They have reasonable level. They have 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Both bedrooms are en suite, and it's great property.
Yeah, that's definitely a deal. It's so funny. Sometimes you see prices and you say it's a deal, and it's kind of like a few years back I was in Palo Alto teaching something. It was like property was like $1.2 million, and they were like, "This is like the steal of the century." And I'm thinking, never did I think that I would hear the word deal and $1 million, but definitely for our market, right? All right. So next one, Daniel. Tom Pack has one on Walnut and Torrance. So we got some good Torrance action going. This one is just a little over $1 million. It's about 1.2, 2,300 square feet, 2-car attached garage, 3-bed, 2.5 bath, nice, a clean looking little place. If you have anybody in Torrance that's looking for under 1.2 for a great size house, reach out to Tom. That looks like it's a pretty good one. The price was at just under 1.3, so they dropped it 100 grand last week. So definitely a great property to reach out to Tom about. Okay. Rod has one on Eastville in PV. This one is just under 3.3, a little under 3,600 square feet, 4-bed, 3-bath, 3-car attached garage. So reach out to Rod if you have somebody that is looking for, looks like a really good sized lot as well too. So, and then Tuba has a unit in San Pedro. There's going to be an open house this Saturday, May 3rd. So if you guys want to go through or send your clients through, this one's just a little under 730, 1,300 square feet, or almost 1,400 square feet, 2-car detached. 2-level, looks like a really clean place to reach out to, and you're fairly close to the water down there as well too. Yeah, I would imagine that the view is pretty amazing. So awesome. And then Andrew Flores has one in Long Beach. Looks like the unit is about 1,149 square feet, 2-bed, 1.5 bath. Another price drop as well too. So this was listed at $699.9 and was dropped to $685. So reach out to Andrew if you have somebody looking in Long Beach. Okay. And Sion's like been on fire lately. All right. So she has 620 South Gramercy in LA. And this one just had a price change as well too. Was at 484, they dropped it to 479, 678 square feet, close to Koreatown there, and it's 1-bed, 1-bath. Okay. And then Young has one in Laguna Hills. This one is 1-bed, 1-bath, 866 square feet, built in 1980, a nice little townhouse, and that one's listed at 539. Okay. And then Rocio and Sophia have one in Lake Elsinore. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that one, Rocio? Yeah. So how do you guys get that one in the Lake Elsinore? Past client? Cool. Glad to see Sophia on there as well too, because again, newer agents getting productive, which is great stuff. So that was just hit the market, right? Okay, cool. So if you have somebody looking out that way, make sure you reach out to Rocio or Sophia. Yeah.
And then I called Lake Elsinore office, and they gave me the company to put up the sign, which they put it up at the meeting, and the road. So if you do list in another area, just call the local.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. upcoming events and classes. So let's start off with Michelle. Michelle's got something, a good event to share. So why don't you come up, share the event with everybody? Great. I walked away with it.
You got the people on Zoom, it's like goes silent for like,
There you go.
there you go.
We did the close.
Okay, hi guys. Aw, thanks, Mo. Mo, we'll listen because I am proud of this. Go ahead.
Did the closers the other day at South Bay, and Michelle was like incredible.
Oh.
Absolutely incredible with the objections.
You
You
were
did
same-
incredible.
So
Well,
did you?
thank you. I couldn't get on the bench, but but Michelle won. She was one of the
No, third.
third, but still you were great.
Thank you. No, that was such good practice. If you guys didn't see it, I think it's the best training I've attended the entire year because literally top agents, Christina Blue with the Human Blue Group. She won first place. She's an icon to me and somebody I look up to. And to go head to head with these people, to hear what they're really doing in the field on Saturdays and Sundays at the open houses or what they're really doing on cold calls. It's like pulling the curtain away and really getting a up close look. So next year, hopefully you guys will watch that competition or attend it or be a part of it because hopefully it gets bigger and better. And I'm happy to help them make it bigger and better because it should be something that every brokerage is doing, honestly. But it was, yeah. I know Eric Powers did help me. And then our team leader, AI helped me. AI did help me. I only studied for an hour. Honestly, most of it was real life practice from just dealing with buyers. And I wasn't as familiar with the listing stuff. Of course, the seller stuff, I was always like, I'll take a buyer, I'll take open house. But either way, lean into your strengths and it was great practice. So honestly, to me, best training by far the whole entire year that Keller Williams provided. So anyways, let's talk about Red Day on May 8th. You guys, the culture committee has put this together and we're going to be at the Canterbury. We're going to meet here at 1 o'clock that day. So please RSVP with Daniel or on the QR code. But basically we're going to caravan over by 1:30 and we're going to spend 2 hours with the those people living there to have a tea party and some conversations. And they're going to provide all the food and everything, but they're going to have a harpist as well. So we're thanks to Maureen and the stager that was here a few weeks ago. Can't remember her name off the bat right now. Shelby, she's also contributing to the sponsorship of the harpist. So we're really grateful, you guys. These people are not always visited or recognized as such a valuable part of our community as they are. So let's recognize them. And you can still do Red Day at Wilson Park in the morning with the South Bay and the other offices. So we encourage you to attend both. And then I want to talk about this YPN. Do we have a slide? Okay, so YPN, I'm heading YPN for PVPAR again, guys. So we are doing a really fun comedy night. It's going to be at Friends of the Vine. It is on May 13th. It's a Tuesday from 5 to 7. So it won't take a lot of your evening, but we have some great sponsorship. And for $15, if you're a PVPAR member or if you're South Bay board member, you can attend for $25 or a vendor. For $25, that'll include a glass of wine, some bites from charcuterie boards, and some really fun comedy. They're going to be talking about real estate, the real estate market. So it'd be kind of funny to hear a comedian's take on our profession and be able to poke some fun at ourselves. So that is at Friends of the Vine in the Riviera Village in Redondo. So please, I just know that, I don't know if it's fully focused on that, but they mentioned that they're going to be talking about real estate. So I think it's funny because it's something we probably all joke about behind the scenes, but it'll be funny to hear. And it'll just be a good time to network with other agents from other brokerages, you guys, because I would hope that, you know, you're getting familiar with the agents that are working up on the Hill and that are active in the community. So please attend. It'll be a lot of fun. So thank you.
Friends of the Vine. Okay, cool. Again, we had a really great first session for the mastermind that we started, the AI agent collection. Had I think probably about 10, 12 people here for the first one, and 4 or 5 of them weren't even Keller Williams agents. So what we're doing is just talking about best practices, how people are using it. Really, like I said, I think super important right now that we hone in on use tools that are available to us. Okay, so next one will be May 15th. That will be the third Thursday, and that will be here at 4 o'clock. Okay. Happy hour will follow, and that will be at Rob's place. If you guys don't know Rob, Rob's one of our agents here, but he also is owner of the Tap House. Really great food, good time. Last time we did it down there, we had a house, been hang for a little bit and support Rob, support everybody else, and it was really, really great. Okay. Esther Corner, Alicia. Let's give a big hand for Alicia. She works for butt off.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? Good. So I want to do something a little bit different today. Usually I come in here with some random, escrow facts and knowledge and stuff like that. But today I want to talk a little bit about consistency and how that shows up in our business, and just really to help you guys know that even in a tough market, be consistent, because the people that are consistent, they're the ones that are going to see this through. They're going to get that listing. They're going to get that buyer. They're going to close on their deals. And it really all just shows up in all of your work, your habits, your effort, and how disciplined you are. So my challenge to you today would be to take inventory of that for yourselves. Really look at what you do on a day in, day out business. Do you honor your schedule? Do you make sure that things on your task list get done? Are you lead generating? Do you need to ask for help in certain areas? Basically, what are you doing to grow? Because the people who are consistent and seek out growth, they're the ones that are going to rise to the top. And I know that everyone in this room and everyone on Zoom, you guys are all amazing, talented people. And just don't forget to be consistent, because I know it can be hard at times, and doubt can sink in, and you can really just start to feel like, gosh, maybe this is a sign I shouldn't go on. But usually it means there's a breakthrough coming. Usually it means that you're actually about to break through a plateau. Any of you have worked out or tried to lose weight or, get certain muscle gains, whatever that might be, there's that whole plateau phase. And really it comes into discipline. Same concept applies. So really just look at your consistency and take inventory of your habits. And if you guys want to have more conversations about that, I'm always here. You guys can call me, text me, stop by anytime. And one more thing, Daniel, because I can't leave without saying, please put Promenade on the contract. You guys write us in the contract. I know I say this every week, but please don't forget, it's good for us to have our name out there. There's lots of buyers agents that we've worked with across all these deals. I've been here 4 years now and built really good relationships with agents that aren't here. So if they see us on the contract, they'll be like, oh, it's an opportunity to work with Alicia again and Emilia, and this is just going to be a great escrow. So just know that we have relationships outside of here too, and you're not always going to write an offer for your buyers and get countered out. So that's pretty much it. And thank you guys. Oh, Josh has a question. Yay, thank you. Appreciate you so much. Of course. Yes. Bring me that information. For those of you on Zoom, Josh Gonzalez, he said that they wrote an offer yesterday, put Promenade on the contract, and was wanting to know if I'd be willing to call the listing agent. Of course. Please, I'll introduce myself. We can talk about what we offer here, let them know about the experience we have, help that listing agent be even a little bit more comfortable, just so that they know who they're working with. Thank you. Al.
Just a quick tip.
Oh, yes. Right.
When you can, you have this resource, use
Mhm.
much more money and close many more deals. So you get those reports prior to the listing appointment.
100%. It really does show that you are committed and that you're interested and that you care about giving that client the most accurate information possible, that you didn't just come to the table expecting them to hear how great you are and then sign a contract with you. You really just came there with information that was going to benefit them about their property.
Say
Oh, I like
That
that.
wasn't a closer. Bob Walker said that.
I've been doing it for 40 years.
I love it. For those of you on Zoom, in case you couldn't hear Al, he said that, you know, when you're on that listing appointment and the client, you know, is deciding to sign with you, or just even as a closing tactic, to tell the client, and you know what, if you were interviewing other agents, or you mentioned you were interviewing other agents, I'll call them to let them know you already signed the contract. That way your client doesn't have to have the difficult conversation. I think I haven't actually heard that one before, so I got to learn something new today. So thank you all. Again, I'm right here. You guys all have my cell phone number. If you don't, it's in my signature block or on everything that you get from me. So you can always scan the QR code and get my contact information as well. Everyone have a great day.
And I like the theme here. Minnie talked about consistency, and Alicia brought up consistency again. And that's really the name of the game, is just making sure that you're doing the consistent actions that will lead to results, right? And I also think that that's a really great idea, is leaning on, you guys have a special relationship because you have escrow right in-house, and the amount of things and resources that Alicia can provide to you guys can give you a strategic advantage, and we need to make sure we're taking advantage of all of those things. Okay. All right. So title tips with Grant and Rana. All right. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Hello. Our usual title talk, so we don't talk much about title, but we got some good resources for you. I thought it'd be helpful to kind of do like a quick speed run. It's been a few weeks since I've talked of some of the resources we have for open houses. I know that this office has been doing a lot of great like open house workshops and really drilling in on how to maximize the open houses you're doing. So I wanted to show some of the resources that we have at Fidelity National Title that will help supplement you. So these are things that we can help provide, or that you can help on your own. Oh, am I not sharing the screen, Daniel? Let's see.
Yeah.
There you go. Y'all look great. Stop recording. Yeah. Oh, weird. I don't know why it's not. Oh man, this happened at the other KW like last week too. I'm on the Zoom, right?
So funny, I just have to say, I was sitting in my car talking, and this woman running by, was her mom.
Oh yeah? Where was she at?
In San Francisco.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm having. Oh, there she is. She's in the back. You got a nice look at her.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna do no slides today, so I'll kind of like verbally paint a picture for you all. So I'm passing out a nice booklet that I was going to share for you with some of our open house resources that we can provide. This one is specifically for any listings that you have. So I'll share a link with Daniel so you can see everything that we do have. You do have a flyer on your desks. So each of you has like a Fidelity National Title open house resource guide of sorts. So if you scan those QR codes, you'll be seeing the things that I was going to show today. So the first QR code, it scans to a Google Drive link where we have a bunch of good open house flyers for you. These are all from our Fidelity Agent One phone app. So this is yes, perfect. Yeah, pass that booklet down. It's a free app that we have on your phone and your computer. It creates a lot of really great flyers for you for open houses. So these are going to be specific for buyers. So it'll show them like monthly payment estimates, rent versus buy estimates, neighborhood reports, etc. A lot of good information that you can provide to people. The second QR code, it takes you to our website. We have some really great buyer and seller guides. So these are great. We can give you some of these for your open houses. So if you have people that come in and they're curious about like the real estate process, let's say they're like brand new, they don't understand what happens in the loan process. So they don't get what title is or what escrow is. We have them in English, Spanish, Chinese, and Korean. So we can provide those to you. So if you're sitting there, you want to walk someone through the loan process, it's a really great guide that you can show someone, and we're happy to give those to you as well. The third QR code, it scans to a collection of videos. I know John's really been trying to get people to kind of do some lead gen around their open houses. So whether that's door knocking or cold calling or doing targeted ads, all of it, all the above. We have some great resources at Fidelity. I saw Joel on Total Farm, which was sweet earlier today, but we got some good apps where if you're trying to door knock or if you're trying to cold call, we make it easier for you to like manage all those people you're trying to reach out to, or getting the phone numbers to reach out to as well. So scan that QR code, you'll see the videos. And I'm always happy to help you too. So if you're like trying to game plan for open house the week of, and you want to kind of go over one of these apps and get a little bit better at them, let me know. I'm always more than happy to help. So when that package gets to you, check it out. So for your listings, wherever it is, somewhere, we put together these for your listings. So if you have a listing coming up, let me know, text me the address. We'll create a personalized package for you where it's going to have a ton of great resources for you. So it's going to have a geo report, which is like a neighborhood guide. It'll show the schools nearby, the restaurants nearby, the parks nearby, golf courses, etc. So if you have out-of-town buyers, it's a great resource where you can show them everything that's around the listing. It'll have a monthly payment estimate as well, so you can show someone what that house will cost, and it also shows all the itemized closing costs, so title fees, escrow fees, etc. It'll show estimated property tax profiles, so you can show someone what the new property taxes would be. But the really cool thing, in my opinion, to get that estimated property tax profile is the property tax bill is itemized. So we have someone come in, and some people are really particular about wanting to see what's on the property tax bill, and you have someone that's like curious about Melrose taxes. It shows that specific address in every single property tax item associated with that property. So just things that can hopefully help you shine at an open house and answer most of the questions that you might have. So any listing that you have, text me and say, hey, Grant, can I get, we call it an open house engagement kit. So we'll get it to you. We put it in a nice booklet that looks something like that. And if you wanted to create those for yourself, like for your regular open houses, let me know. All of those are created using Fidelity apps that are free. And then that booklet, you get a bunch of those at Office Depot for like 20 bucks for 20. So they're super cheap. So if you're trying to create these on your own, I'm happy to help, show you how you do it. And then lastly, we got our goodie bags today. We have a nice open house sign-in book for you. So if you have a listing or you're doing open houses regularly and you want an open house sign-in book that leverages those CAR forms. So the open house visitor non-agency disclosure and sign-in forms that some of you might need, be needing to use. So we can get this for you. It's in a nice booklet. So that way you have all your forms taken care of at your open house. I think I'll check with John to make sure this is still the most accurate form, but we can always kind of get the updated ones if needed. So when you have your listings, or if I know there are people in here that are doing open houses a lot, so ask me, we'll get you these resources. We just want to make, your lives easier. You're sitting there on the weekends, doing the hard work, and we just want to be here to support. So I'll send these links to Daniel. That was my bad. I don't know what happened there, but I appreciate everybody, and thank you again. Thank you.
Finally, just a shout out to Grant because he came to my open house.
Oh, yeah.
About the package or the box on the Saturday.
The box. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like Alicia said, and then Grant, we have just some amazing people that do some really great things for you guys. Make sure you take advantage of them, because at the end of the day, having as much information and as much ammo in your arsenal that you have to be able to get business, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of those things. Okay. All right, Daniel, next slide. Just again, Mega Agent Camp is coming up in August. It will be Antonio this year. We haven't had it in San Antonio. It's always in Austin. I have not been to San Antonio myself, but I've heard the Riverwalk is really, really amazing area and should be a lot of fun. So definitely, I think worth checking out if you guys have some interest in that. You can talk to Minnie or Al or John or Maureen or anybody. Michelle, I know, and Rocio have been to that as well. Just a really great opportunity to learn and collaborate and get better at what you do. Okay. All right, Daniel. So what I want to do with the last little part here is we had a really good, how many of you guys were on the morning session this morning for the mindset? Okay, so our team was cool. So I'm going to just repeat what we did for the morning mindset today. Didn't really talk necessarily about a specific topic. I asked the agents what they wanted to talk about. And one agent from our Valley office basically brought up something I thought would be a really good thing to mastermind about for the end of the meeting today as well, too, because I think we're going to see this pop up quite a bit more, and it's evidenced by seeing a lot of the price reductions that are on the MLS, right? And her question was, hey, I've got this person who I'm going to go on a listing appointment with, and we're like way off. Like this, I asked him what he thought we should list the house at, and it was like $800,000 more than what I thought the price was at. And she's like, I'm struggling because there's not really a lot of great comps. So what I want you guys to do is just take about 5 to 10 minutes in groups near your tables. And I want you guys to just come up with what's the best thing that you would say to somebody who's an unrealistic seller that you have to ask a price reduction for, and or a listing appointment where you guys are way off on what the value is, right? And then we'll come back after about minutes, and then we'll kind of debrief what your guys' best practices or what your best ideas were from having that conversation. And then hopefully we walk out of here learning some strategies on getting price adjustments and getting our listing prices more in line with where they should be. All right. This table over here's got a pretty good advantage because Al's pretty mastered at all of this kind of stuff. All right, so that's what your task is right now, is just if oops, close to where you're at, have a conversation on, hey, I got to get a price reduction, or I'm on a listing appointment and we're way off on price. What would you guys do? Or what would you guys say? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 5-10 minutes to come up with what your strategies are.
I know you're not right now, but that means we're everything that. Anything on the video feel. Then there's possibilities, but then we'd rather actually. This is the supporting part. I think that's going to be for 2 weeks. Then we do whatever. But then it's even better with concern. Like you say, very well. You don't have any. You're involved in the process. Yeah.
Possibility. And then. Client thing. So getting into the psychology of sales. Then telling me what they feel or what they think. Start with the idea. Great, where we put the data. It's not my chance to say. To find out what the unintended consequences of the costs are, and then sharing with them, okay, now we'll talk about the need and the possibility of not fit. These are the stuff that I use to price. And so there's 3 different strategies that we can deploy. We can go with yours on 1, and then there's 2, and then there's 3. I believe that's because then you're in line with your cost structure and your.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why it's always important to get to the goal, not the money. And then have a conversation about what the goal is going to cost. And then now you can identify, okay, hey, listen, wants more than what they can get for the house, because they have what they want to do next. Probably not realistic, right? Yeah. I want to live in a $10 million house by the sea, but it doesn't mean that my house inland is going to sell for $20 million so I could buy that house. I mean, like, just because that's one.
And then another one is about the book on the spot, I think a lot of agents do it, or people sell experience. Like, you never say but.
Yeah.
You say but.
It means that, yeah.
Everything you said. And then the first thing mentally is, they won't even know it.
Yep. And I like what you said too, is just like, hey, cool, like walk me through how you came up with that price.
Yeah.
Right. You know, if you feel that it's worth that, cool. Like, because that's always been my thing. If you can show me how we can get that price, cool, let's do it. Right. But if you can't show me, if it's just like my mom, when my mom wanted to sell her house, I want $800,000 for my house. And I'm like, Mom, no houses in this area has sold for over 600 grand in like ever. What makes you think that we could get 800,000? She's like, well, I see houses in the paper that are 800 grand in Tracy. And I'm like, Mom, that's not even the same neighborhood. Right? Right. Well, is that? All right. Now, in 2 minutes. Your Congos. All right, let's wrap up the convo. Bring it back in. Let's go. It's time to reel it in. I heard some really good conversations going on out there. So let's start out with the group up front here, right? So you guys, what were some strategies or some things that you came up with that if I have an unrealistic seller, we more in line with the reality on pricing?
Not long. So start, lead with that. And then if they're stubborn with their price, then you tell them, well, okay, we can start at maybe like Maureen, like in the middle of what number I think,
Mhm.
you think, maybe go in the middle. And if that number does not work, then for about 2 weeks, then we'll list it at the price I'm telling you.
Yeah, and I really like that strategy, and that was something I always employed too. Is if we were a little bit over, I wouldn't take a listing that was too far over, but if we were a little bit over, I would always just kind of preface actually when we were signing the documents. Hey, let's agree on a price reduction now. If we don't get the results we want within the next 7 to 10 days, that way we can stay ahead of it, because that gives them. Oh yeah, John said. Now it's rather than getting a in the gut that you're asking me to take less money now, right?
What I also say is that don't worry, you will never underprice it because you'll get multiple. And they'll selling it where it's supposed to.
Yeah, and that was one of the things they proposed last week too, is kind of creating this auction kind of scenario is that, hey, can you overprice a property? Yeah. Can you underprice a property? Not necessarily as much, because if it's a screaming deal, you're going to get people that are going to bid the price up to the market, right? But the real danger, especially not as much in the market, especially Torrance right now, obviously, but the real danger is if we're in a balanced market or if we're in an actually like 08 when prices are declining, you overprice, now you're chasing the prices continue to fall, you can lose substantial money, right? So that's always a danger there as well. Okay, cool. What about over here? What do you guys come up with?
Put me in the seat. The guy that's not an agent. So, the first thing that you're going to do, right, is like you have a discriminant price. What's the point of the extra? They're going to start with I think or I feel. That by itself is going to tell you where they are psychologically, right? I feel, now you know we're moving with more emotion. I think, I prefer that, then I can actually probe that further. We can go into the emotions too, the psychology of I feel, but I think it's easier for me because they're like, great, where is the data behind them? Okay, where did you grab it from? Estimates. Okay, great. And then you already have a line of why its estimates are not good, what their overheading agenda is by Zillow, whatever they're using for their sources, confident on superior to houses, right? You can easily disconnect that. And then you okay, well, what are the costs associated to the carrying cost of the property, right? What are the unintended consequences and opportunity costs for loss, time, effort, money, and lost opportunity, right? That is monthly. You need to know that from them. your comps and why you think it should be priced at X. Then through X, there's 3 different strategies you can employ. Resultant contribution, which is 1, 2, and 3. They all have that. What you're really looking to do is to show them the difference between fantasy, possibility, and structure for fulfillment. So fantasy that you're going to sell your house 20% above that. Possibility, but what are your carrying costs? What are you willing to do? Structure fulfillment, here's the 3 options that I have for you to consider. I guarantee we'll produce the result. Follow my lead. Do it.
All right.
Want to come up to my phone?
I'm a real estate broker. I know what it's like to be your student. Of course, I don't operate it. I did that with me for our competition to do on this room. What I do offer is a partnership with you and a lending partner to help your client be projector and act. These same conversations with them all the way through reinforcing the form.
Yeah, I love that. And I don't, I couldn't agree more with kind of the strategy of you got to find out what's really motivating them and making them tick and what they want. My big thing is you got to find out what's next. What do they want to accomplish? Because if they're selling something, the money itself doesn't really matter, because I was telling the group this morning, if I took $100 bill and I burned it, the ashes, it's still physically $100 bill, but does anybody want it? No, it's worthless, because you can't do anything with it. So the money itself doesn't really mean anything. It's what do they want to do with the money from the sale of the house to get what they want. Imperative.
Yeah, but the other thing is just take the word but out of it. Say but, you're negating everything.
And it puts them on defense, right? So yeah, finding out that motivation, the why behind what they want. That way you can figure out, okay, cool, this is what they want to do with the money once they sell the house. Is the sale of the house, what do they need from it in order for them to achieve that? And now you can kind of work on, hey, do you want this more? This is what you said you wanted. Or do you want to get some like arbitrary number that you think in your head is what you'd like, right? What's more important to you, what you said you need or what you want, right? And then now you can tie that motivation back to the pricing strategy a little bit better. Okay, middle group. Your first middle. Cool. Yeah, it's not a reduction. We're just adjusting it to where it probably should have been, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think one thing that's important, and I learned this early in my career from a mentor of mine, is she told some sellers no. Because she said, and I was actually just having a conversation with Tim Lesser about this a couple weeks ago, and he kind of takes the same approach. Is I'd rather be second in that particular case, because if I know in my heart of hearts the house is not going to go for 2.5, there's no way you're going to get it, and Daniel's telling you he can do it, Daniel's not going to sell it, and then that seller, is one of two things is going to happen. It's not going to sell. It's never going to sell at that price. And then he's going to badmouth Daniel forever, right? Daniel may be able to get him price reductions, but because Daniel told him he could get him 2.5 and he didn't, even if Daniel closes that deal, it's still probably not worth it, because now that person's going to badmouth you to everybody they know and will never use you again. So kind of like I said, my mentor, her big thing is, I can't tell you how many listings she got as rebound listings, because she went on the appointment. She was honest with them and truthful and gave them the information they needed. And they chose to listen to somebody else. They would call her back saying, hey, we want to get this listed with you. And then they would go down to the price. Preserved her reputation and her credibility. And she won more business because of that. Your time. Right. One last thing, because I think it bears repeating, is this agent that kind of brought this up on the mindset call this morning said, hey, this house is really tough. There just really aren't comparables. So she was struggling with how to combat the seller's high expectations. And when I was living in the state of Washington, it was a really, like there was almost no subdivisions. Everything was like custom built. So nothing was like each other. And a common practice that we used to do up there is, if it was really, really tough to comp, hey, Daniel, I advise that we actually get an appraisal done on the house before we list it, so that we can find out what banks are going to value it at. That way there's no surprises later, because ultimately somebody's going to have to buy this house and get a loan. And if we can find out what the bank's numbers are right now, that's going to help guide us a little bit better on stuff. So if it's a cookie cutter house, probably not. But if it is a really custom type house, few $100 for an appraisal to help you get a more realistic price. And now it's not them battling you on price, it's battling a bank on price, right?
I did that.
Yeah, well, I fought against an appraiser and won, because this guy was from out of the area and he pulled these comps, and I told the bank, I was like, everything that he did was like literally across the street from this thoroughfare. And even though they were in close proximity, nothing over the prices that these are selling over here. So they had sent somebody back out, and then we ended up getting super, super smart. Yeah. So, yeah, because it's not a material fact against the house, it's an opinion of value. Yeah. Hey, there's mold in the house. Difference between, hey, this is a true fact on the property that might affect your decision to buy it. On the appraisal side, this is opinion of somebody's value, but everybody's opinion of value could be completely different. It has no, his opinion about value has no bearing on the or the condition of the home, right? So it's a little bit different. All right, guys, was this beneficial? Yeah, I want to do more and more stuff like this. So, so I think we'll get a lot more value out of stuff. Thank you, guys.